Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of That's Awkward.
Where's the intro music? That's awkward. There should be an intro music that
The
I
intro
have.
music comes...
Should it be awkward?
Oh!
Something like that?
It's going to be that kind of episode, everybody.
His little dog looks at us and poops right on the floor.
And I'm standing in the dining room, living room area, and I see a body chalk mark on the floor.
And I walk through and I see in the restroom the toilet is filled with...
I was about to say I'm pleased to have, but I don't know if I'm pleased to have. We'll find out after this is all over. Mr. Dan Manginelli, so my first question of the day is always who you are, where you're from, and kind of like, what are you about?
Who am I? My name's Dan Manginelli.
I already said that.
I've known you for 35 years, maybe?
I'm sorry to hear that.
I've been in the industry for 37 years.
Which industry? Because this episode's a little different. Normally I've got real estate agents.
Right, I've been on the finance side. I've owned, sold a couple companies. I have a podcast called the WTF, Where's the Focus Podcast. So they could tune into this after that.
What the No, I'm kidding.
No, it's okay. That's any more you want to know about me?
No. Let's get straight into the question.
Sure.
So the question that everybody always wants to know is the most awkward moment. Normally the question is the most awkward or crazy moment that you had in real estate, but...
Does that be in real estate? Because I had an awkward moment in the bathroom when there's 15 signs there to tell me how to take a piss. I mean, I've never seen more signs above a urinal in my life.
It's good.
I don't know what, I was getting yelled at. And then, okay, that's one. The second one is that
People need
you
direction.
can't afford
Come on.
chairs at this place.
I wanted you to
It's
stand.
awkward. It's awkward that I'm not sitting.
Okay. That was the end of this episode. Thank you, guys. No.
Sorry. Awkward in the business. So for me, when did you get in the business?
Oh, jeez. You're aging me. It's 28 years, 29 years
so
ago.
it'd be 28 years ago. 28 years ago, when I was a young buck, I am still a young buck, a younger buck than I am now. I was doing loans. And
Which you still are?
Which I'm at a company. I'm not producing loans so much right now. I'm in management, but I was actually a loan officer at that time, 28 years ago. I actually a branch manager. I think.
Were you a good one?
Well, the best.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. You used me for more or anything else. So I was doing business in an office that Nestor you just started.
Yeah.
Is that your first week or when was it?
That was not my first week. That was probably like my first month. If I haven't, you're going with one of either two stories because it's either Kathy or.
Oh no, it's
okay. It's not okay.
Yeah,
so
that's okay.
Just for the record, people. This is not his awkward moment. This is my awkward moment.
It was awkward to look on Nestor's face was awkward. So I was in that office doing business that was there. I had walked by Nestor. He said, "Hey, can I borrow you for a second? I need you to qualify someone who's in the office right now." And I said,
that was
"Absolutely."
My lender didn't show up.
That happens.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in our industry.
Yeah, that was actually how we met.
Yeah, that was
how we met
because our first meeting.
A fellow agent a fellow agent said, "Hey, my lender's here," and then he introduced us, and I came over to you.
Right.
Yeah.
So I sat down with his client, who I believe you already written an offer with.
No. We were already in escrow.
Yeah.
The offer was accepted.
It was an accepted offer,
Yeah.
but I wanted to run
Escrow
numbers.
open.
That's what it was. So,
Yes.
15 minutes in, I ran numbers, and there was no way that person was qualifying for a home. And she had bought a home, or they had bought a home at that time.
Yes, they did.
And I had to let them know what the actual payment was. Whoever told them a payment that was like $2,000 less. It wasn't even like $500. It was ridiculous.
It was huge.
It's a ridiculous amount that was lower. And so I had told them, the wife started crying. Just really crying because obviously
it was a bad cry.
It was one of the can't catch my breath cries.
Yeah.
And I said, just 1 second. And then I went and got you. And I said, they don't qualify. And then I left you in the room. And I think I said, thank you. And I might have left by that time.
This is how it literally went, people. He had all the paperwork there. He went like this, packed it up, and said, thank you very much. And this isn't going to work. And you left.
Yeah.
And so when he's talking about the crying part, and this really is my awkward moment. So she didn't stay in the conference room and cry. I don't know if you remember that part.
No, I left because I actually had real buyers to talk to. So
She left the conference room and she went out into the lobby, literally went down on her hands and knees on her floor in the middle of the office.
was it because you didn't have any chairs like you have now?
No,
Oh,
there was chairs. She
Okay.
was just so broken up. She's like bawling and she's screaming, crying. I can't, and I'm like, holy cow, brokers coming out, what's going
Yeah.
on here? And I got no control over everything.
It was,
yeah.
It was not a good scene. I think
It was
that
bad.
For our industry and as a whole, I believe that ethics is huge, and people that watch this, I'm sure they believe it because they're watching it, that you're doing it, and it's horrible on the other end when you're telling someone when their dreams are set and they've already decorated the house and they see their kids playing in the backyard and this is going to be the best investment they ever had, when someone has to come to them on the financial side and say, this is just not happening. So I think that if anybody gets from not being awkward is do your job, do it well.
Yep, and I didn't do it well that day, and it wasn't. Dan's not picking on me, and I felt bad. That was really
I felt bad.
Yeah, we both felt bad, and that was really in a very uncomfortable situation. I got fired from the agent, or not the agent. The client fired me. She ended up not working with me any longer, and I can't blame her, to be honest with you. But it was really a situation where I was brand new in the industry.
Yeah.
I got referred to a lender. That lender's not in the industry anymore, go figure. Because he didn't know what he was doing, and I was too green to know that he didn't know what he was doing. Pre-qualified her, gave us all the paperwork, go out there, show them property, and boom, got them in the car, got that offer accepted with that, and then this was really at the point where they were coming to do all the paperwork, and he no-showed. I don't know if he ever went back into the business or what. I don't even know. I don't think I ever saw that guy again. And you just happened to be there, and that's how we met. And Dan's not telling the whole story because he didn't really leave. He did leave the room and let me deal with that unfortunate situation. But he came back to me afterwards, and he set up a time and a day to get together with me and teach me how to properly qualify somebody so that this wouldn't happen again.
Yeah.
And hence goes the story.
Here goes the story.
Right.
28 years later, I still don't have a chair to sit on.
Yeah, that's because you haven't deserved one yet. So.
That's quite all right. I think the great part about like doing these and it's awkward. I think one of the better stories for everybody, and just not in real estate too, is the story when they just started what they were doing. That pivoting point when they learn something, it's always awkward, and most people don't want to believe that they that they don't know anything.
Right.
I think people really say that, I'm in sales, I'm a sponge, teach me, but they lack the willingness to learn. And it's the person that has the growth mentality where they want to learn and they're a life learner. And people with a fixed mentality believe that I'll never get it, so I'll just keep saying yes. And I'll keep just pretending. One great thing about you in that day and early on in your career is you had the willingness to learn with a growth mentality of saying like, right now, I didn't even know that you had to get someone qualified, and then taking you to the steps of we weren't even doing business together, just understanding like when you get them, these are the steps that you take, these are the questions you ask to make sure it doesn't happen again. That you don't have someone crying and you don't have someone in escrow, because now you got a seller, you've got an escrow, you've got a buyer, you've got all these people that are now involved in a transaction that's never going to happen.
We haven't even talked about the fact, so once she left, having to call the other agent and say, hey.
Yeah, I know we're in escrow and your
that deal?
Your seller
Yeah.
has a van. Ever heard that? That the van's coming on Tuesday and it's not closing and it's all your fault.
And it was completely my fault that
Probably
day.
your fault.
Yeah, it was my fault that day. And you know what? It was a learning experience, but God, why do you got to bring that up?
What?
I buried that.
Because
that was
you're a
deep.
dick.
Did you just call me the D word?
I did. I stopped myself. Whatever. I think these are great stories. I think the beginning of anybody's career and anything they do, good stories. And that's how people learn. They learn from other people's stories. I mean, the best things the reason I have kids and they're halfway great at what they do is because I try to stop them from doing all the mistakes that I made, right? I mean, don't do that.
Let's talk about those.
Right. Those would be really awkward stories.
All right, everybody. Appreciate you guys joining us. Dan, if somebody's looking for you, if they want to find you, what's the best way to find
You
them?
go to any place that you get podcasts, anywhere that you listen on YouTube, anywhere else, and go to WTF, Where's the Focus? Comment, subscribe, you can find me there.
Awesome. We'll drop that in the link below. Appreciate it, and thank you very much.
You're welcome, buddy.